Good morning, everyone. It's Mich here, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. And if you are returning, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I have Chester here with me this morning. Say hi. Yeah. He's usually quite vocal in the morning. He kind of calms down as the day goes on, and he's already had food and water and cuddles and his litter box. He just thinks sometimes that I need to give him my undivided attention. So welcome. Today I'm going to be doing another day of the Junk Journal July 2024. It is day 18. I am following the challenge by Meg Journals, who has set the prompts, and I will leave a link in the description below. So her prompt for today was free, and my affirmation word, if you've been following, you know I've been doing an affirmation, is magic. So as soon as I saw free, I knew what I was going to do. But just before we do that, I've been saying about my spine, so I've actually had to make another score line there so that, because it's getting kind of fat, so I've just been making my spine bigger, and as the challenge goes on, I know it's going to shrink my cover, but I am going to do another flap at the end. So we finished all the front page of the accordion, so we're actually working on the back page. So today's affirmation, before I get into the free thing, is each day brings new opportunities to find magic in my life. I think sometimes it's easy to think that today's ordinary or it's the same as yesterday. There's nothing new today. I'm in a rut. It's Groundhog Day. And sometimes I do think like that, especially when my arthritis is bad and I'm basically working and then finding time in my craft room, which is my passion. But there's magic everywhere. I went out to the garden this morning and some of my flowers from the night had been kind of closed up. And as the day goes on, they open and bloom and turn their face to the sun. And that's magic right there. Even that a flower blooms is magic. There's just so much magic around us. So for a lot of my prompts, I printed the list off, or my affirmation, I printed the list off on my computer, and that's what I use some days. But for this prompt today, I actually went to my brother P-Touch, and I printed it off gold on black. So I'm going to use that. So, but back to my free thing. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I was going to root through my happy mail, and I've been so blessed to have people send me lots of happy mail, and I like to use it when I can in the projects that I'm creating. Some of the stuff is offline, so it's personal stuff to me, but some of it is on my channel. So in my Marguerite Miller, in here, and in the junk journals that I've been doing. So I absolutely loved this little envelope flap that Valentina had sent me in the mail, and I try to remember stuff, so I kind of write names so that I will remember. But Valentina, I absolutely love this, and so this is kind of what I'm going to get down as my background piece. So I'm just going to put that down now, and I could make a pocket at the top, and maybe I won't, I'm not sure. But just because I'm not sure, I think that I will leave the top open, and if I decide that I don't want it and for some reason I want to close the top flap, then I can just glue it down along the top. So I'm just going to put some score tape because I feel that this holds things well when I'm going to be putting things in and out of something. So I think that's great. And then I think I'll make it so that if I do have a pocket, it's just that deep. So I think that would be sufficient. Okay, so then I'm just going to get my little pokey tool, because I find that easier to try to get the backing off. Sometimes my fingernails, it's hard to get underneath there. And the reason I use the score tape, it is a little extra money than the stuff I can get at say the dollar store, but it holds well. I use it for bookmaking and for things in my journals that I really am going to be putting wear and tear on, like pockets and whatnot. So, okay, so that's up, and I know that that's up. So I'm just going to put that along the bottom so that I have a little room at the top if I do decide to put something as a pocket there. Okay, and we'll just press that down. So then the next thing I wanted to put in my pocket, I pulled from Lynn in New Zealand. I absolutely love this journal card that she made. So I am going to use that in my pocket. But before I do that, because I thought, well, then this is going to be a short video, I kind of thought maybe you might want to craft along with me and make some of these journal cards, because I absolutely love them. So I'm just going to set this aside for right now. And to make these journal cards, I am going to use a tag that Chris had sent me in her mail. And then Joy from Australia, I'm going to use one of the stamps that she sent me. Lynn also sent me some stamps. And then Nina from Denmark had sent me some bird stickers and a couple book stamped on books, which I absolutely love that. And I sticker there. So I've pulled out some stuff, and I might use this. This is a strip that came in Happy Mail that Chris sent me as well. So I'm just going to set that stuff aside. And so when I was looking at this card, my gosh, there was a lot of work in this card, Lynn. So, and I was trying to kind of replicate the card. So what I did is I went to some of my coffee dyed paper. So I had a strip of 8.5 by 11. And so I cut it into the 4 by 6 cards, the journal cards. And then I have enough left over to probably do a couple tags. So I've cut those out already on the trimmer, and I'll set that aside. So then that was sort of the backing on the front of the card, as well as sort of the coffee dyed on the back. So I do need to, as my next step, do a little bit of stenciling. So I'm just going to find my craft mat, which has definitely seen better days. I've had this a long time, but I like it. And I've seen a lot of reviews that it's really flimsy and whatnot, but it's great as a background. It's really waxy, and when I clean it off, it usually cleans up quite well, but now I've got holes and stuff in it, so I definitely need a new one. So I found one of my stencils that I like, and I'm just going to use the vintage photo. But instead of using my flat distressor, I'm going to use an actual blending brush, because I find that the rounded bit of the brush actually helps get that through the stencil. And I'm just going to be a bit random about things, because I just want to make a mark. Okay, I don't want it... I don't care if bits of the image don't show through, because it's just background. And then once we get this down, then we'll go to the front of things. Okay, so then it just ends up a little bit like that. So I really like that, and that's kind of a lot. I'm not exactly sure. That might have been antique linen, I'm not sure, but I just want to do the vintage photo. And if you do it a bit lighter, or if you want it more darker, then just adjust how you're doing things. And then I just want a little bit up in there. And I love this stencil because it has good little bits of coverage. And I don't even know where I got this stencil, to be honest. I've had it quite a long time. And it's quite rigid. It's not really flimsy. So I like that too, because it's good for, I use it a lot in my texture paste stuff. And if you watched the video where I did the side pocket, my background paper was some textured paper. I think I used that stencil for that one. And I'm just doing all of these now so that when I go to do my tags, then it's all ready. Because I'm probably going to do like at least 2 tags, and then maybe that other piece this piece here is big enough that maybe I'll just do a journal card with that. Okay. And then what I've been doing as I go along is anything extra I'm sending out as happy mail. So I've already sent out a couple things a happy mail, and then I already have a few things that I've saved along the way. And then at the end, probably sometime in September, because I just mailed out a bunch of stuff, I'll send out another mail out. And I have got your guys' some of your emails, and I'm just hoping to get to them maybe this evening. I'm just trying to get a few videos ahead for when we are away, because we're going on holiday in July. So it's been a bit of a mad rush. But then when I'm on holiday, it's only for 4 nights. And this trip we're going to Cape Breton, I think I told you guys. So we're going to go, our first night is staying in Lewisburg. We won't go to the fortress there because I've been there not long ago. But then we're going to go the next day to see some puffins, hopefully. And then we're going to go up to Ingonish, where Cape Smokey is. That's where the ski hill is. And they have a gondola now that you can go way up. Cape Breton is in the Highlands, so you can go way up and have a great vista out over the, I guess the ocean. I never really thought what the vista is, but it's right off the Atlantic Ocean. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to spend a couple days in Inverness Beach. And Inverness Beach is one of the best places to get sea glass. So I'm kind of hoping to pick up some of that. Okay, so I should have probably done this before I got on the video, but if you're following along, it gives you time to do some stuff. Okay, and then this is the last one. Right, so then once I did this, I then took a just piece of copy paper, just white, 8.5 by 11, and I collaged. I just went into my bin with all my book pages and book scraps, and I collaged on the copy paper. I collaged with just book pages. So then I got a sheet that I've already cut up, and I've already cut my journal cards. So I'm just going to go around. I used some Jane Austen, some Anne of Green Gables, some Wuthering Heights, some gardening books. I had 3 different types of gardening books. On this one here, I only have to do the one side because that's the only side that's really going to be showing. So I've already cut out these as well, and I've rounded the corners on all of these. And then this, I think, is just going to be another type of journal card, I guess, but it's a little bit bigger. I'm not really sure what happened, because it's a little bit bigger than this one, which I'm not sure. Oh, I know why, because these were only 3 1/4. So I cut them to mat onto our thingy there, so that's why that's a little bit bigger than this one. I'm just going to set these aside for right now. I can work on those later. We'll just work on these 2. Okay, so then I just cut a little piece of just this paper that I got at Staples. It's about 32 pounds, so it's the size of a little bit heavier copy paper, and it's like this brownie color. I don't even know really what color to call that. Tan, I guess. And I made a little rectangle, and then I just rounded the corners, and that's going to be tab at the top. So I'm going to glue these down a little bit just to get them in place, and then I'm going to go to my sewing machine because she's sewed around there, and I'm going to sew that on, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got that sewn, and so the next thing I want to do is put down a little strip of collage paper. So I have a bunch of these that I've never really used, and they're like already collaged. It feels like they're on some newspaper background. Well, there you go, look, newspaper. So I'm thinking that I might like to use that one and maybe this one. So I'm just going to cut it in half, and it doesn't really matter if it's straight, but I'd like it to be straight. So I'm just going to get my trimmer out, and I'm just going to cut maybe just before that kitchen, I guess. And then I can use the other half. So I can put that sort of on there. And then this one here, let's make this one a little bit wider. Okay. So then I'm just going to round the corners, just like I did on there, but only on the one side. And I'm happy with how long that is. I could actually use that other piece on there. I'll just go with that one. And then I am going to just distress it, those two bits a little bit, just so that they blend in with the rest of the card, as I've kind of distressed on the other parts of the card. Sometimes I distress and sometimes I don't. I do like the look, but sometimes I like a cleaner look too. But for this card, I definitely want to do some of that distressing. All right, so then once we get that bit down, then there's a little piece of paper under that little strip there. It's just kind of peeking out. So I went to my stash and I have some Creative Studio bits that I thought I could tuck underneath there. And it doesn't really matter if it's distressed or not, but we will distress it a little bit. Okay, and then I thought that that would just kind of peek out from there. And then I had another little piece here that we can use. Okay, and this was just packaging that came with that Creative Studio box. And then we'll just we'll glue this underneath because I just love the layering. If you watch my Marguerite Miller, you know that I am a layer person. So I'm thinking that that might go down. Might actually trim that off. Right up to the wing. Stress that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on it. Along this edge here. And I'll tack it sort of where I want it to go. So probably like around there. With just a little bit of it poking out. And it just adds another dimension. All right, and then I'll put that about there. And then we'll just tack the whole panel down. So we'll just get mostly around the edges. If we're going to be pulling this in and out of that pocket, then I want the edges kind of tacked down. Okay, and then, so then the next part I think will be, I'll get the stamp down in that bottom right corner. Sun's coming out, it's going to be another warm day here. Though, I'm not complaining because there's lots of people that have it a lot warmer. Okay, so we got that down. So then I was thinking to get this little cluster down below. So I'll use one of those stamps from Lynn, and I want to use my Australia stamp there. And I think I'll do it that way. And then I pulled out a couple labels from my stash. They had a white border, but I've cut the white border off. And I'm thinking that I'll do something a little bit like that. But I think the next thing I do before I put that down is I'm going to do a little bit of stamping, because there's some stamping in the background there. So I've already pulled out a couple stamps, and I'm using my vintage photo because I just want it to be subtle in the background, just like that is kind of subtle in the background. So I've used that one, and then I've got another just sort of a checked graph kind of thing. So we'll use that. And then I kind of thought about maybe using a couple things from this stamp set. So here's some more words. Stamp on there. And then I kind of like this. It's just some little diagonal lines to kind of stamp around. And I'm just kind of doing just a little bit around the, not going to go overboard. Okay. Okay, so that's just a little bit of stamping to just kind of make that background a little bit more interesting. I did want to use one of these, but I think I'll save those for another project, because Nina also sent me these birds and that little label that I want to get on there. Okay, so now we'll do our little cluster. So I'm thinking that I'll do that tag and that. But then now I'm seeing there's a little bit of washi tape underneath there as well. So I think I pulled out some washi tapes, and I'm thinking that maybe this one. I got some new washi tapes the other day, and these were, I never really had much for browns. So with this new bunch, I got a bunch of brown. And I think with this, I might just add a little bit of glue, because sometimes these washi tapes lift up. Okay, so I like that. And then maybe for this one, we'll do this one here. Gosh, last night I had so many dreams, but I can't really remember the dreams. But I know when I dream a lot that I'm not really sleeping that well. So I kept waking up to all these dreams going on in my head. Okay, so we got that down. So let's get this label down, because I want to put this as the bottom bit of the cluster. So I'm thinking maybe right about there. And then I want to get Joy stamp down. Australia. Oh, that's cool. And then I think I'll do just over on this side, but I'll cover that if I use that. Okay, I'll use this message label. And I just chose some at random from my stash. Okay, and then this one came from Lynn too. I'm wondering if that's... So I'll get that down. So that's cool. Okay, it's coming together. So I was going to put that tag from Chris, and I think I will, because I really like how that looks. And I'm thinking, do I want it on this one or over here on this one? I think I want it over on that one. So I'm going to get that down. Which I think is really cool. I could have waited until I collaged the whole card and then sewn around it. That might have been better, but I didn't, so I'm not going to take it back out to the sewing machine. Okay, so we've got that down and the edges. All right, and then, so for this one, I'm going to put one of these birds, because I think they're awesome. And I also had another label that had from Nina that I thought I might use. Yeah, I like that bird. All right, let's see how hopefully he won't blend in too much to the background. Oh no, that's awesome. And I think that other little label fits really well there too. So I'm going to put that down. Kind of right there. Okay, and I'll save that little bird, those little things for another project. Okay, that's garbage. All right, so then the next thing was a little bit of that ribbon. Well, I didn't have anything like this, because this looks like some braided hemp that's braided in with these metallic leaves, and that is just absolutely gorgeous. So I didn't have anything with kind of metallic leaves and stuff, but what I did have is a long time ago in my paper pumpkin, this it's a Stampin' Up! Kind of card kit. I had these metallic leaves that I didn't use, so I'm thinking that I could make use of that. And then I found in my stash, I found just a bit of braided hemp. So it's a little bit different, but so I kind of thought I would just glue that down and then tuck some of those leaves kind of underneath it, which I think would be cool. And I kind of like how it's frayed on the end, so I'm not worried. So that's kind of cool. And then I'm just going to use some Fabri-Tac to stick down the hemp, the twine, I guess, fine twine, particularly on the ends. You don't want it to fray all the pieces when it's on there. And then some bits. And I could add more glue if I need to. So I'm just going to push that down. Okay, and then with these, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac on these as well. I thought they might have been stickers, but they're not, I don't think. Would have been great if they were stickers, but okay, so I'm just going to get some down on the backs of these leaves and a little bit on the stem there. Work it around a bit. If I have to put more underneath it later, that's fine. Okay, and then, oh, it's doing a funny thing to the, probably because it's a solvent. I wonder if that's going to stay like that. Can you see it kind of made this? I'm not sure if I like that or not. It's kind of interesting. But I think I'll see if I can just get the regular glue to hold that down instead. Because I'm not sure if I like that effect. Oh my god, I can't even pick that up. Okay. So this one here, I don't need all four of those. So I'm just going to try, this is just Elmer's glue. Because I think it's a paper backing. I think it's metallic, but I think it's on like a papery type backing. Where Fabri-Tac solvent based, it might be doing something in the background there to that, to this thing. And then just get those little bits down. I thought about, I have some foil paper, and I thought about just going to my die cut machine and just cutting some off. I've got some glue on and then I'll just put another little leaf down below there. Okay. See if I can tack that underneath there. And I don't want to. Yeah, so that's kind of cool, just to get some little shiny stuff down there, and then I'll just do the same thing over on this side. And just use a little bit of Fabri-Tac. Get that that down. Guy next door, the sun's coming out, so he's got his motorcycle out for a spin. Okay, and then this one here, just going to cut that little piece off. I'll get that down. And then the other little thing that was on here was a little baker's twine bow. And it was the really fine baker's twine. So I had to go look around and see if I could find some, because I have some very thin and I have some. So what did that end up looking like? Oh, I guess it fades as it dries, maybe. So maybe I'll take one of these after all. And put that down there. Okay, so we got that down. So then I already made some little bows to kind of go on there. Let's put it like right around there. And with this I'll just use, I was going to use a glue dot, but I'll just use just some glue. Should hold it. And the Elmer's glue that I use dries clear, so just going to poke that down though with a pokey tool. I just, like I said, I love dimension on things and the layers, and plus, I don't know about you, but I have all kinds of bits and bobs in my craft room that sometimes don't get used. Alright, so the last thing that I'm seeing on the card is those enamel dots. So I did have a little card that I've had this for a long time, and so I thought, well, I'm going to use these enamel dots today if I can pick them up. So I'm thinking I'm just going to randomly I think there's three ones there, so I'm just going to do some random little dots. Perfect, to kind of imitate little paint splatters. So I'll put one there, and then I think I'll put one up there. I think that's good. Alright, so there's our little card for today, which I think is absolutely gorgeous how they turned out. So one's going to go in my, I don't know if one's going to go in my book or if I'm going to put those both in Happy Mail at some point. I think I might put those in Happy Mail. So, but I wanted to put this one in my book. This is the one that Lynn gave me. So I'm going to slide that in there, which is gorgeous. And then for my saying, I'm going to put that right on the top here. And I just want to say, each day, those are too big. Where's my little scissors? I lose things on this desk, even though the desk is not very big. Each day brings new opportunities to find magic. To find magic in my life. So I need to say that when I'm starting to get thinking that. Okay, so, and these are just on those sticky labels. Let's get that down. Okay. Yeah, so I hope you guys are going to have a good day today. And if you're struggling with things, my thoughts are with you. So I know we all have our struggles. Some days are harder than others. One of my mantras for a long time, and I might try to put it in actually this journal. I haven't yet so far, but I might be able to change something around, is this too shall pass. When I was in my 30s, I went through I was really sick and was having a lot of panic attacks, and thankfully I grew out of it and haven't really had a panic attack since, but it was an awful time. And I just felt like there was a monkey on my back all the time. So if you're struggling with that, you can work through it. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's it for today. So we have our free. So I just put in a couple things that I got in my Happy Mail that were free, as well as use some to create some lovely cards, which, you know, because these are a bit sentimental to me, I think I might actually keep these ones because I like that it was used from a Happy Mail. But I'll make some other ones to go in my Happy Mail because I really love these. And I think I'll journal on the back of them about the Happy Mail. Yeah, so yeah, but I'll create other ones that will be just as nice. But yeah, so I think that's all I have to say for now. And until we meet again, I hope you stay safe and well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.